Good evening, everyone, and good evening, Deepak. Welcome to FINIXX 2025. And it's honestly a great pleasure to have you with us. And as Shubhajit rightly pointed out, you're one of those who's I've never seen you in too many events. And you've been more at building your product than talking about it, I guess. And I've known you for a while now. Yeah. So, great. And good to have you with us, okay?
Thank you so much for having me here. Pleasure. And thank you for hosting this event. It's been a lovely event.
Thank you so much.
And I know that you've been building this platform as an entrepreneur for so many years. It's not easy building a platform in India. So congratulations to you as well.
Thank you.
And I'm glad this industry is growing rapidly.
Right. Okay, Deepak, so I'll just trace back your journey a little bit. Your journey is just short of maybe 2 years than mine, so to say, almost a more than decade journey. You've seen it all over the last 14 years, you know. One of the early entrepreneurs to have taken a punt at AdTech, so to say. So how do you want to describe your journey of over 14 years?
See, I think in terms of 14 years, when we think about it, we still feel it's day zero. You know, so that's what you feel every day. As far as the space is concerned and how we've navigated it, I think if people in the audience want to just probably get into my mind and say that how do you navigate a journey like that?
Right.
There are just 2 or 3 keywords. You know, it is all about having a very unfettered curiosity in your mind,
right.
And one should be able to channelize that with appropriate goals. So you need to be curious enough to figure out what is changing, what trends are emerging, right. How you can capitalize on it. You also need to be smart enough to figure out that how you can assemble a great team with whom you can have a shared purpose. Because I think everyone wants to spend their time on purpose-driven things. So if you're able to align a group of people who have the same shared purpose, then you're able to kind of really build something meaningful.
What kind of a need gap did you see that you kind of launched this platform, AudiencePro?
Okay, so when we talk about AudiencePro and we speak about the need gap in the market, I think what we really found was people are over-investing on Google and Meta.
Okay.
And rightfully so, because these platforms offer great reach, great solutions. So it's a trusted ecosystem, yeah. But what we found was an opportunity where people were still craving for better efficiency. So I think that's a human desire that whatever is working for you, you want that to work better. Okay, so for us, that was an insight. So one is, someone could say that, okay, there are already platforms like Google and Meta. I should create more options for marketers outside of Google Meta. That's one kind of thinking. The other kind of thinking is, oh, the platform already exists, or these are existing platforms which people are using. How could someone make them more efficient? So we decided to choose the path of bringing in efficiencies into existing things rather than trying to compete or rather than trying to create a third front.
Right.
Yeah. So that was the need gap of efficiency. And then we figured out that there is a massive growth of digital transactions. So something which we say that, okay, today all of us as consumers are not just browsing or not just scrolling or not just streaming. Yeah. The whole Insta experience or the time we spend there is on scrolling. The time we spend on YouTube is around streaming. You know, so beyond scrolling and streaming, we are constantly shopping now. Right? So we could see that pattern and we could see that people are leaving breadcrumbs of their transaction behavior at lots of different places.
Okay.
So we wanted to build a platform which could bring together crazy amount of insights, crazy amount of consumer intelligence, which is backed on transacting behavior, not on affinity or interest-based segmentation. So we knew that Google and Meta are already solving the problem based on affinity, based on interest, based on in-market segments, or based on life events. So those are segmentations which were already prevailing in the market.
Right.
What was not there was the transaction behavior.
Okay.
So, so that's how we thought that we should build that piece out. And the other part was, as we were building that out, we really wanted it to get decoupled with media platforms.
Okay.
We never wanted it to become a part of media. We probably thought, why don't we unbundle it? Yeah. So that marketers could choose media independently and they could choose intelligence from another platform, but not try to mix media and intelligence together.
Right.
So we stayed away from the idea of trying to bundle it together, but unbundle it.
Right.
So those were the couple of pieces for us strategically,
Right.
where we felt that this is how we could take a very contrarian approach. And through that contrarian approach, we should be able to win the market.
So that means you're not present on the Google and the Meta platform, so to say.
No, we are, when we say present, when we talk about present versus lack of presence. So today when you go to Google or when you go to Meta, or let's say when you go to Google.
So I'm saying it's not available.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. So
it's
our
not
segments are, our type of segments are not available with Google.
Right.
So then from a marketer perspective, it becomes incremental value that this segmentation is not offered by Google. But what we do is, AudiencePro offers the segmentation, okay? But the marketer can activate the same segments on Google and Meta.
Right.
So they can take the segments from AudiencePro and activate them on Google and Meta.
Okay.
So they are able to, because finally Google and Meta ecosystems offer them reach and discovery, but they don't offer them the segmentation. So that's really how, from a marketer perspective, it's the best of both worlds.
Since you mentioned decouple, does it make it less important for for your users?
When you say for our users, less important in what sense? Just help me understand.
I mean, since you said you've decoupled the platform from.
Are you
Google
meaning
and
to
Meta.
say that does Google and Meta become
Yes.
become less important?
Less important,
Got
yes.
it. So no, it doesn't undermine what Google does or what Meta does. Google and Meta do what is best they can do. So from their point of view, when a consumer spends time on Google and Meta, Google and Meta are collecting information of your browsing behavior. So when I am on YouTube, I'm watching a lot of videos.
Right.
Okay. Because I'm watching a lot of videos, Meta is able to go ahead and profile me basis my watch habit.
Yeah.
Right? So they are doing that in a meaningful manner. Okay. What we are doing is basically saying that, look, assume that, you know, I'm a travel enthusiast, I'm watching travel videos. Fair enough?
Yeah.
So that means consumers on YouTube could say that, okay, there are 20 million people in this country every month who are watching everything to do with Dubai, right? But all of them don't have the affluence level to travel to Dubai. And marketers want to tap people who have the right affluence, okay, and the right buying habits so that they can target them, correct?
Right.
So what we do is that we provide these marketers the relevant signals around affluence, around their transacting behavior, so that they feel confident that this segment of users has the buying capacity. So they can take our segments and then run the campaign only to this segment when they are watching the travel content there or everything to do with Dubai. So they get the best of both worlds. So they get a contextual targeting
Yeah.
and they also get the transaction behavior in it.
Okay. You and I discussed about zero storage. So would you like to tell our people about the zero storage?
So what the platform does is that, so clearly when we are dealing with data and we are talking about that, I think everyone in the room will be familiar with the UPI ecosystem. So I'll draw a metaphor out here. So what does UPI do? If we just dumb it down, what UPI does it moves money from one bank to another bank, right? Or it moves money from one account to another account without it being a bank. So it is in the business of enabling movement of money without being a bank. That is what a UPI ecosystem at the back end does. And it does not store money. You don't store your money there, but it is an API ecosystem which connects and moves it. In the same manner, what AudiencePro does is, it allows marketers to access intelligence. So we move intelligence without storing intelligence. So our platform does not store any intelligence. We are able to fetch the intelligence from our data partners. Privacy by design, consumer consent are the building blocks for any business. You cannot, you have to respect that, and you have to, build on top of it. So clearly, to talk about consumer consent, so today when you go to Amazon, okay, how many people in the room would have read the privacy policy of Amazon? Can we get a show of hands?
I have my doubts, any one of us here.
We are all people who go to Amazon every day. We all shop every day. Yeah. Okay, but many of you all in the room, in fact, nobody has raised the hand. Nobody has read the privacy policy of Amazon.
I don't think anyone does it.
Okay, how many people have read the privacy policy of Spotify? So when you consume Spotify, have you read the privacy policy of Spotify? Okay, no. Strange, right? We are the ones who care for privacy. We are the ones who are very vocal about consumer consent, but we ourselves have not read it. Look at the strange part. All of us have smart TVs, or many of you all in the room would have smart TVs. Have you read the privacy policy of LG? When you go into the settings and read the privacy policy, it tells you what it does. So coming back to, I think the consumers, so talking about consent, I think all the global platforms, whether it is Amazon, whether it is Google, whether it is Meta, if you read their privacy policies, when you use a platform, the platform tells you that if you're using my services, you're giving me the permission, okay, to anonymize your information and use aggregate insights so that I can serve you better. I can give you personalized experience on my platform. That's one promise they make. And besides that, I can also allow my affiliate partners and my technology partners to leverage this intelligence in an aggregated manner and serve you the right recommendation or serve you the right ads on other platforms. So there is consumer consent there. It's a different thing that most consumers don't read the privacy policy.
Yes,
okay, but are the platforms, in fact, if you right now go to the privacy policy page of Spotify and you read that, or the privacy policy page of Amazon, or you go and read the privacy policy page of Vodafone Idea or Airtel, if you consume that, it clearly tells you that you're providing them the consent. Okay, providing them the consent so that they can run a marketing services business.
Yeah.
So that's how the consumer consent part comes in. Okay, so I think the platforms and the enterprises are all doing a very upfront job in their narrative of telling people. And again, from a DPDP Act perspective, it's an important part.
Right.
So the consumer consent comes in there. And when we work with these platforms, or when we are, like for example, when we work with data partners, in their privacy policy, they've called this out. But what our platform does is we don't take any PII information. So to ensure it is privacy by design, we never take any PII information.
Okay.
So we don't take a raw number. We basically have encrypted hash numbers, which we are able to fetch. They are all aggregated. They are not at a user level, because we want to respect the concept of consent, and we are also respecting the concept of privacy by design. So when you're collecting that aggregated information and you're activating that on media platforms like Google and Meta, you're able to bridge, you're able to fulfill that goal of privacy by design and consumer consent. Yeah. Besides that, as you and I as consumers, when we are also seeing any ad on Google and Meta, okay, when we see any ad on Google and Meta, the privacy policy also mentions that fine, you are seeing ads because you have given us the consent to show you ads. If you want to opt out, please opt out. So everyone in the ecosystem is doing it.
Yeah.
It's just that as a consumer, I am talking about my rights to and talking about consent, but I have to make a little effort to figure out, it's all there. And these are methods in which I can even opt out. And the DPDP Act, the government has put together a brilliant narrative around it. It's enforced that organizations should also put their privacy policy not in very convoluted language, but in simple English so that people can easily read it. So that's where the transition is also happening.
Right. So that's a story for another day, I guess.
That I think, provided people read the privacy policy.
Yes. So, over the last so many years, what kind of challenges have you faced? I know entrepreneurs go through their own set of challenges. So, what kind of challenges did you face, not only with regards to the product, but also as an individual, so to say, as a founder?
Okay, that's a very deep question. I think first, what is easy for me to talk about is...
Maybe let's talk about the product first.
Let me talk about the one is the product, but more important, let me talk about the market first.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so when we built the product and we took it to the market, and whilst the market demands transparency, they want DIY, we told them, here is a DIY tool. Here is a easy to use self-serve tool, which you can go ahead and use it yourself, right? But the market came back and telling us that, why don't you do it for us? We will not do it. Why don't you turn this into a services play? Okay, so by default, most people in India, if, pardon me for saying it, but we are lazy. We want an outcome, but if there are tools which are ready to equip us with, we don't easily embrace tools. We are still tool shy. We probably believe that, let me get the work done by telling this person to do the job for me. So there is a very service-oriented mindset rather than a product adoption mindset. For everything, I think we are spoiled for the number of people we have in the country. So we probably believe that everything can be outsourced and someone will do it for us.
Right.
Okay, whilst there are automated tools and platforms today which can come to your rescue. So the first challenge we faced was from a platform adoption perspective. Whilst we wanted the market to go ahead and embrace the platform, the market came back and told us that, okay, fine, you have a great product. Why don't you run the campaign for us? Why don't you do it for us? We did that, because we felt that, okay, this is the consumer behavior. This is the buying behavior. This is, for us, the B2B play means this is the consumer for us, right? We did that. And very interestingly, what happened was that in the journey, we found digital first brands coming.
Right.
So, but when we went to the digital first brands, they were willing to embrace the new DIY world very fast versus the legacy brands. So suddenly we found that, okay, this set of entity is agile enough to embrace new tools. Okay. So then we shifted our focus from legacy to digital first. We won that market. And then we went back to the legacy brands so that they could do the adoption. So that was one learning which we saw, I think, which we saw from a platform adoption perspective. I think from a personal journey perspective, if you say, I think that's probably a conversation for another day. But if I have to still try to, put something at one thing, I think India is a zero trust market.
Fair enough.
Okay. So the one thing which you face in the market is that we're a zero trust economy. Because we are always, even if someone tells you ABC, you're double guessing. So you have wastage of energy. There's a lot of inappropriate energy in the room because you're double guessing most of the time.
Right.
That's one problem. So I think the zero trust mindset comes in the way of our progress. That's one. The second, one more aspect I see is that people are not innovative. Most people, if they believe that, so the progressive mindset is, if someone has already solved the problem, people will say, इसने ये बनाया है ना, तो इसको replicate कर लो.
Very true.
Okay. As opposed to saying, okay, someone has built something of this shape and form. You know what? What could be the next better version of it? Or what do I do differently there? So they don't apply the energy in original approaches. And I think we have the capacity and the insight to apply it there. But we just fall into the trap of, trying to get into models which are already existing. We don't accept the fact that if someone has built something unique, they're going to kill it, because you don't realize that how fast technology is going to evolve. So they will be far ahead in the learning curve.
Right.
Yeah. So they miss out the point that if someone has invented something from ground zero, you cannot just cookie cut it.
Yeah.
So I feel that most people invent choices. So in my view, if I have to say something, that wherever you are with your current organization, or you're looking to get into another organization, always find a place where you feel that, oh, they have moved something forward in the ecosystem.
Right.
Not try to, be a me too.
Okay. Hold on to that thought. I have another question which I'll ask you towards the end of the day. I'll take you back on AudiencePro again. Would you like to share an example of a client that you worked with, some of the best stuff that you've done with the client, which I know will enlighten everybody in the room?
No, sure. So we put, okay, I think there is some slide.
Do we
which
have a
my
slide
colleague-
here?
Yeah. So I think, when we are, since this is a conference which is got people from the BFSI vertical,
Right.
I'll just talk about what we did for HDFC Life. So largely, when you're speaking about clients and what they're looking for, okay. So like I said, that everyone wants to drive efficiency.
Yeah.
So here in this testimonial, what you see is when Francis is speaking about our solution.
Yeah.
Clearly for HDFC Life, they were constantly driving leads, from Google and Meta, and iProspect, which is their agency, which is running campaigns there. So over a period of time, the client has built learnings on which segments on Meta and Google deliver what outcomes. So they utilize the native segments on Meta and they utilize the native segments available on Google to drive better lead generation, right? When we went into the room, we understood how their campaigns currently perform, what's their click to lead ratio, lead to disposition ratio, all the bells and whistles which they care for. And we, from AudiencePro platform, we were able to give them alternate data. So we were able to tell them that, okay, fine, we'll give you users with a high credit score. We'll give you people who are evolved shoppers. We'll give you people who are having a high spend index. Okay, we'll give you people who have taken a home loan at a higher value. Mm-hmm. So on AudiencePro, we have over 800 plus rich segments, 1800 plus rich segments.
Right.
And one can build any kind of cross-tabbing. So utilizing the cross-tab segments, which are deterministic,
yeah.
we activated that on Meta or we activated that on Google for them. So clearly from a brand perspective, a partnership works for them, which can give them measurable results, easy to measure results.
Right.
Because if I'm placing myself in the shoes of any marketer, I'm already doing lots of investments. I need to take very calculated steps so that I can get better ROI, So our segments were able to give them better results. And the beauty about our solution is that we don't execute campaigns. We provide the intelligence and someone else executes the campaign. So it's a very healthy maker-checker relationship. You're not like an affiliate which is doing everything end to end.
Right.
Yeah. You're not blending media with data.
Right.
And offering it at a bundled thing. It's decoupled. So you're able to measure that.
Right.
So yes, as you can see on the slide, that there were key metrics which the client was looking for lifts.
Right.
And they were able to get that. And
Right.
and I'm talking about this not as a one-off thing. They used our solution for over a year.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's something which we are very proud and we are thankful that HDFC Life also supported us.
So that's about the BFSI sector. What are the other sectors which can benefit out of it?
Okay. So beyond BFSI, today AudiencePro is very plugged in with practically every sector.
Okay.
So when I say every sector, we do extensive work with CPG, we do extensive work with e-commerce, we do extensive work with OEMs, autos, travel. Across every sector,
Yeah.
we are very active.
Okay.
Our platform is used every month by almost 300 plus brands.
Okay.
So it's deeply penetrated. You name a category or a subcategory, we are able to offer that because the scale at which we offer segments, the depth of our segments, which is, like I said, over 2,000 plus segments, across 640 million profiles. So with all of that, we have something available for everyone. I would also like to add here that as we are adding value, even our partners, even our ecosystem partners, whether it is Google or Meta, they also support us. They also drive advocacy for us.
Yeah.
So when they are in front of customers and they're looking for meaningful audience solutions, they also put in a word about our solutions.
Yeah.
So that's really how we've been able to grow the ecosystem.
So we live in an AI era. So if I don't ask you a question on AI, I think the conversation will be incomplete. So tell me a little bit about how AI had disrupted your life.
So AI is, luckily for us, AI is an enabler rather than a disruptor. Okay, because two aspects. One is for AI to deliver, AI needs data.
Right.
So any AI is as good as the quality of input data you put into it. Being a data company, the amount of signals we deal with, the richness which we have, AI is able to accelerate or perhaps what it does is amplify our work. If in the, I would argue that, okay, AI is a good co-pilot for us at this point of time. Because whatever we built, if we want much faster adoption for it, AI will accelerate that for us. So that's how we use AI, because when people come on our platform and they have to choose 1,800 plus segments, sometimes it gets overwhelming for them to select the right kind of combination of segments. So our co-pilot helps them give the right recommendations so that they can very intuitively build new segments. So that's one part of AI which the tool is capitalizing on.
I guess every entrepreneur wants to kind of move to a different market. While you more or less captured India, so to say, what are the markets that you're looking at capturing next? Where do you think you want to be number one, so to say?
So I think firstly, in India itself, we believe that today we work with about 300, 350 plus brands. There is a lot of room further for expansion here. And we believe that, okay, we can work with 2,000 plus brands. Okay. And why we say so is that today, if you look at digital marketing, it's a fairly evolved practice in the country. And today, I would possibly argue that businesses like Google and Meta, they would have their customer count would be over 1 million, 2 million enterprises. Right. So you would say that, okay, large ad tech platforms like Google and Meta have 1 million plus customers in the country. Yeah. That means these are the number of advertisers and brands which need digital marketing. And as we all know, there is a rise of D2C brands. Okay. There's a big explosion of D2C brands. There is big explosion happening right now in terms of the fintech space or the startup space. I think all of us in the room would agree that if this market, Indian market, had, say, 100 brands, I'm just throwing a random number, 3-4 years ago or 5 years ago, with D2C, with other innovation, with startup funding, so on and so forth, today the market has 500 plus brands.
Right.
So consumer choices have increased and brands are getting launched every second day. So there is a massive opportunity for us to go deeper and deeper in India. That's one. And with our solution, we can do that. Over and above that, as we build this whole solution, which is a globally unique solution, because like I said, it's a zero storage platform. Nowhere in the world someone has constructed an architecture like this. Like the way in India we take pride of a UPI ecosystem. In the advertising world, we should take pride of what AudiencePro has done. So we are now taking even the platform into Southeast Asia as we speak. And clearly we have also a focus to take it to the US market. So those are two markets which we are, hopefully in the next 12 months, we'll be there.
So you've identified partners with whom you'll be working there, other than, of course, Google and Meta, so to say.
Yeah, so clearly, yes, in Southeast Asia, we are already active.
Okay.
We've done a partnership with Telkomsel, which is the number one telecom operator in Indonesia. So we already have a partnership going with them. And now we are looking to go deeper into that market. As far as the US is concerned, many of our customers in India who are already using our platform. Today what is happening is many D2C brands, jewelry brands. There are many brands which are in the D2C space who are not just catering to the Indian market, but they're catering to the NRI community in the US or in Europe. So they are also looking for intelligence
for that market.
For those markets. So we have an organic set of customer who is already captive customer with us. So we're going to find our stepping stone approach to say serve our existing customers for a different geography.
Yeah.
And then utilize that to build on top of that.
My last two questions. What's your vision for the next 5 years?
See, I think it's very hard to I think more than for us, I think the way we think about ourselves and what has kept us going. If someone had to ask us that, what was your vision 5 years ago? And if I have to fast track that and say, oh, do I remember what my vision was 5 years ago? Yes, our vision was that we told ourselves that we are not an advertising company. We are a data company. So our vision is that we are a data company, and advertising is one of the ways in which today we drive revenue.
Right.
Because it's a trick question that if you tell yourself that I'm an advertising company, then you have a very different path. But if you tell yourself that you're a data company, then it's a very different path.
Conversation, yes.
Right? So clearly for us, the vision remains the same, that we are a data company, and being a data company today, we've solved a few use cases in marketing, that how we can bring intelligence so that marketers can, out of the box, get access to consumer insights. Yeah. And just as we cater today to the marketing ecosystem, tomorrow we may go back and say, oh, we have so much of alternate data that we can go and help fintech companies so that they can have a better, or they can have an alternate scoring mechanism for disbursing loans. Yeah. So we may cater to more segments, more business models on the back of being a evolved data company.
Right. Fair enough. I see a room full of youngsters here, and of course, some of them may be turning an entrepreneur a couple of years later. Would you have a word of advice for some of the people here?
I don't think anyone needs advice. Yeah.
No one, you think? I'm sure so many of them would.
Genuine. If someone needs an advice, they can ask.
So guys, I'm opening the floor open for you. I have a seasoned entrepreneur with me here in the room. Anybody who wants to throw some questions at him, except for the AudiencePro product, as an individual, if you can ask some questions. Guys, no question. I have a seasoned professional here. Harmeet, please.
So I know him, I don't know, for ages now.
Yeah.
We spoke about it earlier, outside the room. When do I see you going public?
Going public.
Of course, you've been at it for so long. So when do you see the
You actually snatched that question.
Fruits of what we've been, sowing for so long?
See, honestly, if you ask me, I have, just as in businesses, you would say that, like everyone silently has a superhero. Okay. So for me, the real inspiration is like Sridhar at Zoho.
Okay, I guess that's an inspiration for all of us.
And now it's but for years, what I've seen them is build value, and quietly keep building, right? So I don't have a good answer that,
You're just saying karma kal, phal ki chinta mat kar, something of that sort, right? So
I don't know what it means, but I have deep respect for that man, because what they've kept doing for the last 15, 20 years, right, is really, really built very quietly. They've given back to the community, so you would say as an entrepreneur, they build some meaningful products, quietly under the radar, never in the public eye, not bothered about, going out and trying to just be in media or trying to fill some share of voice, but busy solving things which are needed to grow. You know, so I think there are businesses where you just enjoy building and you give back to your community. Now the man has gone ahead and built, he could have easily settled in the US, he could have gone there, right? But he's gone into a remote village in and around Chennai, you know, okay, just enable that ecosystem. So that's a different high.
I think government's authentication of Zoom mail is a very right answer to what he's saying, right? Chalte chalo.
Yeah, on the Chalte Chalo note, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Deepak. Thank you.